This woman is old enough to be your elder sister. What is wrong with you? As the sun hung low over the busy streets of Nando, casting a long shadow as the day wound down, in the midst of the evening activities, Rita stood tall, elegant woman with striking features. Her presence was commanding, her beauty undeniable, and her success evident. Rita, being an industrious woman, owned one of the most luxurious clothing stores in the city, with her designs gracing the body of most prominent women in town. Yet, despite her business accomplishments, she remained unmarried. Many suitors have come and go, each one with a pretense to love her, but leave her heartbroken in the end. Rita was so unlucky with men. All they were attracted to was her money and beauty. After so many disappointments, Rita resolved not to have anything to do with men again. People started gossiping about Rita, saying all manner of false accusations. Despite her beauty and all she has acquired, she's still unmarried. All the suitors that came for her hand in marriage ended up not marrying her. I wonder what her problem is. Are you sure she does not have a spiritual problem? Her neighbors gossiped her, whispers to each other, and made side glances. At nearly 40, Rita had never married. All of her friends from childhood, her mates, had long walked down the aisle, wearing wedding bands, and some of them already mothers. But Rita's life had taken a different path. Her 3 siblings were all married with kids. Her mother, Ndidi, never missed an opportunity to remind her of her failure in bringing home a man who she would call her husband. "When will you give me a grandchild, Rita?" Ndidi often asks, her voice laced with concern that masked her growing frustration. "Do you want to wait until you can't carry a child anymore? I need you to bring a man home. I need you to get married. All your mates are all married. Don't you think about what may become of you if you end up not getting married? Why not take away this shame from me?" Rita would always sigh, brushing off her mother's incessant questions. "Mama, I'm working on it. Whereas marriage is not everything. Marriage may not be everything," Ndidi shot back, "but it is important. Look at your younger sisters, even your brother. They are all settled. And you are just there. How do you want me to hold my head up in the village? Don't bring disgrace to this family." The pressure was constant, and as Rita approached her 40th birthday, the whispers in the community grew louder. "Maybe she is cursed, they would say. With all her money, why has she not found a man to call her own?" Rita's neighbors speculated endlessly about her love life, some even cruelly suggesting she was too proud, too independent to attract a husband. Rita ignored them all. But at night, when the city was quiet and her shop had closed, she would sit in her spacious, well-furnished apartment and feel the weight of their words. Her heart longed for love, for companionship, and yes, even for children. But she had never met a man who stirred that deep, soul-consuming desire within her. Not until she met Tim. Hey lovelies, hope you are following this story. Hope you find it interesting. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit up the like button. Share your thoughts below the comment section and stay tuned till the very end. Thank you. It was an ordinary day when Tim walked into Rita's boutique. He was looking for a suit, but what he found was something much more significant. Tim was tall, handsome, with an easy smile that lit up his boyish face. He was 10 years younger than Rita, but from the moment their eyes met, there was an unspoken connection. Rita had been helping him choose a suit when their conversation drifted from casual fashion advice to something more personal. "I feel like I've known you forever," Tim had said, laughing at something Rita said about her busy schedule. Rita smiled, feeling a warmth she hadn't felt in years. "Maybe in another life," she teased, not yet realizing the gravity of her words. Tim's charm was undeniable, and over the few months, they saw each other more and more. Lunch dates turned into dinners, and dinners turned into late-night conversations under the stars. Rita had never felt this way before, so carefree, so seen. Tim, despite the age gap, treated her like a queen, making her feel young, vibrant, and desired. But as their love blossomed, Rita couldn't help but notice the growing unease in her neighborhood. People whispered more loudly, mocked her behind her back, and some even confronted her outright. One evening, as Rita prepared to meet with Tim's family for the first time, immediately she stepped out of her doors. She was approached by one of her nosy neighbors who couldn't bear the sight of Rita hanging out with Tim. "Rita, don't you think you're too old for this boy?" Mrs. Obiora had said, her tone dripping with scorn. "To me, I feel it's an insult to bring yourself so low for small boys like this." Rita held her head high, refusing to be embarrassed. "I am not too old for love, Mrs. Obiora, and neither are you. I think you should mind your business and stop snooping into people's life." Rita walked past Mrs. Obiora. Tim was already outside, waiting patiently for Rita in his car, unaware of what had just happened between Rita and her neighbors. As they arrived Tim's house, Tim introduced Rita to his family since they have been dating for a year for the first time. Rita naturally was nervous. She knew the age gap would be an issue, and she was right. From the moment she stepped into the modest home of Tim's family, she could feel the tension. Tim's mother, Elizabeth, was a woman with sharp eyes, was the first to voice her displeasure. "Timothy, what is this? What is the meaning of all this nonsense?" she asked, looking Rita up and down with a clear disdain. "Mom, this is Rita, the woman I've been telling you about." Elizabeth didn't hide her disapproval. "This woman is old enough to be your aunt. What is wrong with you?" Tim tried to explain, but his mother wouldn't hear it. His sister Nneka joined in, casting Rita a hostile glance. "You're making a fool of yourself, Tim," Nneka said coldly. "Everyone is talking about you. She can't give you children. Why don't you find someone of your age? Are you not ashamed of all this?" The hurt in Rita's chest was unbearable, but she remained composed, her eyes meeting Elizabeth's defiantly. "I love Tim," she said softly but firmly, "and that's all that matters." Elizabeth's eyes narrowed. "Love?" she spat back. "We will see how long this love lasts when the real issues begin." Despite his family's objections, Tim stood by Rita, Their love only grew stronger, and after 2 years of dating, Tim proposed. The news of their engagement shook the community, and Tim's family was shocked. Elizabeth swore that she would never attend the wedding, and she kept true to her words. Elizabeth and Nneka didn't attend the wedding ceremony, but Tim and Rita didn't care as well. They married in a small intimate gathering, surrounded by Rita's supportive siblings and close friends. For the first time in few years, their marriage was blissful. But as time passed, the pressure to have children weighed heavily on Rita. She knew that her biological clock was ticking fast. Menopause was looming, and her chances of conceiving were slim. They tried everything: doctors, fertility treatments, multiple rounds of IVF, but each time they were met with disappointment. The strain began to show, not just on Rita, but on her marriage as well. Tim, though supportive, couldn't hide his sadness. He had always dreamed of having children, and while he never blamed Rita, the weight of their struggle was beginning to take its toll on both of them. And Elizabeth, ever the opportunist, swooped into action at the first sign of weakness. She began to plant seeds of doubt in Tim's mind. "I told you that the grandmother you kept in your house as a wife wouldn't be able to give you a child. You think I was joking? Now look at it. What an elder saw while sitting down. Even if you climb in the tallest mountain, you won't be able to see it. I warned you and you didn't listen." Elizabeth mocked Tim in parable. And before long, she did something unimaginable. She arranged for another woman, Lina, to marry Tim. Lina was a distant relative, younger and eager to please. Elizabeth was certain that with Lina, Tim would have the children he so much desperately wanted. The day Lina appeared at their doorstep, Rita felt as though her world was crashing down. Tim was furious, but Elizabeth stood her ground. "This is what is best for you, Timothy," she said coldly. "Rita cannot give you what you need. It's time to think of your future." For weeks, their home were filled with tension and arguments. Lina, though polite, was clearly there for one reason: to take Rita's place, but Rita refused to back down. "You may be younger," Rita told Lina one evening, her voice calm but strong, "but you will never have what I have with Tim." Tim torn between his loyalty to his mother and his love for Rita, eventually made his decision. He sent Lina away, much to his mother's fury. Elizabeth was so furious about that action. He confronted Timothy. "Despite all the efforts I've made to make sure you're happy and you have a home, children to be called your own, you ruined the only opportunity you had. Okay, let's see how this grandmother you left in your house as a wife will give you children to call your own." "I married Rita because I love her," Tim told Elizabeth, his voice unwavering, "and nothing, not even you, will come between us." Years passed, and Rita's hope of having children began to fade. But just when they had nearly given up, a miracle happened. Rita became pregnant. The doctors were astonished, and Rita, though cautious, was overjoyed. The pregnancy was difficult, and Rita was bedridden for most of the periods, but she endured it all with strength and grace. When she finally gave birth, it wasn't just to one child, but to three, two boys and a girl. Elizabeth, who had once tried to destroy their marriage, now stood in awe of the family Rita and Tim had built. The triplets were healthy and strong, and Tim and Rita were the happiest they had ever been. In the end, the whispers, the mockery, the disapproval, all of it faded away. Rita had defied the odds. She had found love, fought for it, and built a family in the face of every obstacle. And as she cradled her newborns in her arms, with Tim by her side, she knew that their love, tested by fire, would last a lifetime. Rita and Tim had finally found their happily ever after. Hey lovelies, hope you find this story interesting. Please share with me what your thoughts are in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel at African Storytales by Abby. For my founding subscribers, big ups to you all. Share this video with your family, friends, and loved ones. And stay tuned for more interesting and mind-blowing story coming your way. I remain your favorite storyteller, African Storytales by Abby. Bye!